In the opening scene, we're inside a building and we see a man open a door and accept a package from a delivery person. The man takes the package, walks up to the top floor, sits down at a desk, looks us right in the eyes in the camera and says that he just bought this package from renowned British conceptual artist Martin Creed. He has no idea what's in the package. He only knows that he paid £180 for it. Now he's been given special instructions to open this thing carefully with a scalpel, which he does. When he opens it, he finds two objects. One, a piece of crumpled paper. And two, a letter that's basically a certificate of authenticity. It reads, Martin Creed, work number 88, a sheet of A4 paper crumpled into a ball, 1995. I love it. This is the beginning of a documentary on YouTube called Who's Afraid of Conceptual Art, put on by the BBC and hosted by Dr. James Fox. It talks about basically a couple of things. What is conceptual art? How should we approach it? And why should we care? I can certainly understand why some people would be pissed off that they paid $180 for a crumpled piece of paper. But I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, what is an object and what is art? Those things have been switching places for the last 100 years, right? And this program kind of talks about that. What you think of as a certain thing, being classified as a certain thing, maybe it's not. Later on, he talks to Martin Creed in the program. Now he says, James Fox, the host, says he wasn't completely convinced by what Creed had described as the A4 crumpled piece of paper, but I kind of already liked it and I was more convinced. He said they put a lot of time into it. Isn't that the thought that really counts? I mean, whether you think it's aesthetically beautiful or not is another question, but it is a work of art. John Cage, what did he say? If you think something's ugly, look at it again. If you still think it's ugly, keep looking at it. Eventually you'll find that it's not ugly at all, that it's actually beautiful. I always kind of like that thing. Now this program, this documentary that I'm suggesting to you on Pop Culture Fridays here, I'm Troy by the way, it covers a lot of the common names that you'd find. Marcel Duchamp, the guy who made a urinal into an artwork or a snow shovel or whatever, but also covers people like Pierre Manzoni, the guy who canned his feces. Pretty brilliant. Michael Cray Martin, Yoko Ono, Mary Kelly, Bruce McLean, Joseph Beuys, and Chris Burden, the guy who shot himself on video with a .22 caliber rifle. That's dedication, folks. So I mean, what's the point of shooting yourself with a rifle on a video? What's the point of sending somebody a piece of crumpled paper? What's the point of canning your own shit? Well, I don't know, but I think it's interesting. And I like the idea of doing those sort of things because, well, it kind of breaks down the barriers. And that's kind of what we've been trying to do this whole time, haven't we? Breaking down barriers. And that's what it's all about. I get it. A canned piece of turds is different than a Monet painting. But why is it different? I mean, is it just preference? Or are we debating whether it's actually art or not? I have to say, I think this documentary is actually really good. The way it's presented and the way he looks at it, you can tell he kind of comes at it from a skeptical angle at first, but then he starts to get sort of won over by some of the performance artists, particularly the light and word artists. They don't cover, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but if you're familiar with, Jesus, what's her name? What's her name? Anyway, not Barbara Kruger, the other one, Jen something. Oh, I'll never get it. Please call in. Come on, call in. Let me know. No, but it was just a sentence in London on the River Thames, and it was sort of illuminated in lights, put up in lights, and it was really moving. People were coming from all around, and they felt attached to it emotionally. So, you know, if you show up at a museum in 1640 or 1830 with that, they're not going to let you in. So I don't know, I kind of like the idea that we've gone to this place. It makes things a little more confusing because it blurs the lines, but maybe are new lines drawn? I don't know, they could be. In any case, I like the idea of a crumpled piece of paper. I think it's interesting. I don't know if everybody would think that, and I wonder if people would return it. But, you know, it's kind of a good way to, as long as you're thoughtful about it, I think is the key. If you're not thoughtful about it, then I don't know what to tell you. That's the thing. I remember when I was in Chicago a long time ago at the Contemporary Art Museum, and I saw this, I'll never forget it. It was an ironing board leaning against the wall in a jug of water. And I remember being so angry that this was in this museum that I couldn't understand how this was in there. Now the problem is that you don't know if you're being made fun of as an observer, that you paid to get into a museum, and some artist has taken it upon themselves to make fun of you for being, or make fun of art at your expense. I still hate that piece. I think it's a dumb piece, but the thing that I like about it now is that it sort of prepared me for what was to come later in life. I don't disagree I don't think it shouldn't have been in the museum. I just didn't like the piece. But little did I know, that was my first introduction of many to come, like in regard to conceptual art. So anyway, the point is, this is a really good documentary. You should watch it. There's a link to it below. I don't think it's very old, maybe a few years. And you know, it was hard to find the perfect video, because some of them like do it in segments, like 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. This one had like a logo in the bottom of it. I can't remember which one I put up. I'm sorry. If you search for it, you'll find your own pleasing vehicle for watching this. But it's not very long, and it's definitely worth your time. Now listen, I'm sorry I haven't put up some videos. This is a short one, but things got complicated there for a few weeks for everyone, including myself. And as you can see, I'm running through the woods, hiding through the woods. Remember that you can follow everywhere at Pop Culture Fridays on Instagram, at Culture Fridays on Twitter, ArtHouse43.com. We've got a Patreon at Pop Culture Fridays if you want to contribute to that. I'm Troy Ramos. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you next Friday. I hope you're well. Be well. Remember, we're alive. And remember this, we were never guaranteed a tomorrow anyway. So you got to enjoy life while you can. Get out there and enjoy the sunshine. If the sunshine hasn't come yet, just wait until it does. And get out there and seize that day. Ooh, come on. All right. Till next time.